Please be seated. Good morning, St. Paul's. My name is Bryce. I'm 14 years old, and I've been a part of St. Paul's my whole life. I'm also part of the EYC and the Acolyte. I'm a freshman at St. Mary's Academy. Before I start, I would like to thank my family, those who are here, and those watching online for supporting me. This morning, I would like to discuss the Gospel, Luke chapter 14, verses 7 through 10. When he noticed how the guests chose the place of honors, he told them a parable. When you are invited by someone to a wedding banquet, do not sit down at the place of honor, in case some more distinguished than you has been invited by your host. And the host who invited both of you may come and say to you, give this person your place. But when you are invited, go and sit down at the lowest place, so that when your host comes, he may say to you, friend, move up higher. Then you will be honored in the presence of all who sit at the table with you. Can you imagine being invited to your favorite artist concert and you sit in the front row because there's no assigned seats? But then right before the concert starts, a group of people walk in with the artist and they make you move to the very back row. Wouldn't that be very embarrassing and awkward? In this parable, Jesus uses how guests choose seats at a wedding to teach a lesson in humility. Let's discuss what this means. Humility is defined as having a modest or low view of one's importance. Does this mean that humility is only for the weak? No. We can all agree that humility is a positive virtue. The Bible encourages humility as seen in Luke chapter 14, verse 11, which states, for whoever exalts him will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. The biggest example of humility in the Bible is Jesus, who humbled himself and became a servant. When he came to earth, he chose to be born in a barn, showing that just because he's a king doesn't mean he has to be born in a palace. Throughout his life, he lived a normal life among the people. Yes, he cared about himself, but he cared more about the people around him. That is true humility. He knew his purpose and came to serve, and in the end, died on the cross for our sins, the ultimate sacrifice. We don't have to make that big of a sacrifice, but we should be more humble in our daily lives as Christians. We should learn from Jesus' example and try to be more like him. We could be his hands and feet here on earth. Humility is not thinking about ourselves all the time, but thinking about what other people around us need and want. When we are humble, God will lift us up when the time is right. Like the rapper Kendrick Lamar says, be humble, sit down. The Bible teaches that God gives grace to the humble and resists the proud, which brings me to my next point, which is pride. Pride is the opposite of humility and is defined as a feeling of deep pleasure from one's achievements or being especially proud of something. Yes, it's good to be happy about your accomplishments, but too much pride can lead to overconfidence, which can blind us from seeing our weaknesses. A lesson on religious pride can be found in Luke chapter 18, verses 9 through 14. The story of the Pharisee and the tax collector. It tells of a despised tax collector and a self-righteous Pharisee, who both went into the temple to pray. The Pharisee was bragging about his observance to the law and looking down on the sinful tax collector. He even said, God, I thank you that I'm not like the other men, even this tax collector. His focus was not on God at all, but instead on how good he was and how bad others were. Pride caused him to lose focus on God. On the other hand, the tax collector was so aware of his sins that he not even lifted his eyes to God and simply said, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. Pride can make us only able to see through one lens and rebel against God. Pride can also cause people to reject the help they may need from other people. In the end, it can lead to separation from God. Near the end of today's gospel, in verses 12 through 14, Jesus said, when you give a luncheon or a dinner, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives or rich neighbors, in case they may invite you in return and you will be repaid. But when you give a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind, and you will be blessed, because they cannot repay you, for you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous. When Jesus says this, I don't believe that he means that you should never have gatherings with your friends or in family, but to also remember the less fortunate. We should help without expecting to be paid back or getting anything in return. There are many ways to help others. Examples include volunteering at a shelter, donating money to people in need, our very own Christmas gift bag ministry, and passing out blessing bags. Here at St. Paul's, every year around Christmas time, our youth prepares bags with toys and books to give out to kids at our neighborhood schools, paying for us in FL Stanton. And also, before COVID, we had a ministry called Blessing Bags. We provided Ziploc bags with snacks, toiletries, and socks to the congregation to keep in their cars to give out to someone in need. This is a small project that you can also do on your own. Helping someone does not have to be a big physical gift or grand gesture. Something as small as complimenting someone can be meaningful, because you never know how a small compliment can brighten someone's whole day. Inviting someone to sit with you at lunch can make that person's day. Small things go a long way in ways we don't realize. As we leave church today and go out to our daily lives, let us remember these three things. Number one, be more like the tax collector and not the Pharisee. Do not brag and show off, but be humble. Number two, stay away from pride, because at the end of the day, it can lead to separation from God. And number three, look for opportunities to be helpful towards others. A small gesture can mean so much more than you think. Thank you.